think that there's an important concept that people need to get their heads around, which is that the imagination is not a playful little tool for painting pictures or writing books or telling stories. The imagination is the kind of fulcrum of one's ability to project and create reality. It is the mixing pot, the crucible, the palette, whatever you want to call it, whatever metaphors we want to use. The imagination is the engine of creation for us. It is our secret weapon. When the imagination is captured, as we see it described in that very phrase, that's a dangerous business. So if the control system, and we can describe them in different ways, the Illuminati, the Masons, the New World Order, whatever you want to call them, there is a control system there, that's beyond doubt. The control system wants to seed our consciousness by capturing our imagination, and the way it does that is it uses emotionally charged messages, and the biggest emotions are fear and love, and love is not a particularly useful one for these guys, so they much prefer to use fear. So fear, as we see it in the movies, in the disaster movies, and in the murders and horrors and what have you, and I like the odd horror film myself, but certainly the images that we encounter in these things are designed to seed consciousness. There's a huge number of disaster movies that occur on our screens and, you know, spew out their rubbish filmmaking abilities. These things are there not to make money, believe it or not. They're not there as a display of acting capability, which is pretty obvious. They are there to seed consciousness with probable realities. And if you take a closer look at that, many themes that are very, very, very likely are explored, like massive floods, ice, sudden drops in temperatures that bring about a modern ice age, asteroid, comet impacts, invasions, off-world invasions, and so on and so forth. So all these, to any open-minded person, all these very, potentially probable things are there, but they have different feelings associated with them. So these disaster movies are there to elicit emotional response. That's what they're there for. The plot is irrelevant. The actors and all that stuff is completely irrelevant. The emotional transmission that they create, they purposely put these films out there to charge human imagination with a potential reality tunnel, a potential outcome. And when enough imaginations are captured, statistically, collectively, the consciousness is shaped in such a way that then becomes a programmable effect. And using consciousness as the programming language, because that's what it is, it becomes a probability.
So what you're saying here is that a thing like an entertaining movie, let's take that example, this actually is an interface between the fantasy world and our reality in a way?
Yes, I've described it in the past that the imagination is the engine of holographic potentiality. That's a bit of a mouthful, but if we can get our heads around the fact that reality is essentially a hologram, and again, it is. Go and find the information for those who are interested. It is a hologram. Imagination is the thing that projects ourselves into that hologram and also co-creates that hologram, and that is the key to moving consciousness within that realm. So if we understand that imagination is a crucial part of creation, and you don't understand that, let's pretend that we didn't know that, and let's pretend that we thought imagination was just for a bit of fun. when you go and sit in front of a movie with a 50-foot screen and a Dolby 5 million speaker surround system, and you are completely in the movie. And there are some very good movies, and I'm quite happy to do that with certain ones, but I choose them.
Sure.
If you go to the cinema to see the latest disaster blockbuster flick, you are being programmed. Your consciousness is being emotionally charged with somebody else's message. And the key thing, why is there so much money spent on the special effects? Because it has to be incredibly, intricately, and astonishingly real. So the CGI and stuff that we all marvel at is there for a very special reason. The funding that goes into these things is incredible. It is there to create the most realistic reality tunnel possible. And once that goes into the imagination, it is irretrievably placed within the human psyche.